So take somebody and you say, throw them out there and they're not in high school, now they're in college, you go fast, you create confusion. Similar to what I was saying, what might happen to defenses, we don't want to confuse ourselves. If we have the luxury of being mature enough and talented and athletic enough, we'll play fast all the time.
When you were on the stage, I know you mentioned how you want Spencer to relax and be able to have fun this season. I know he's someone who gets tough on himself at times. How do you think you kind of make sure he has that element added in for this?
I couldn't hear her with what element?
Just relaxing and having fun, maybe not being as tough on himself, maybe if he goes to be tough on himself. I don't know.
Are you talking about him or me?
Spencer.
Spencer is very relaxed now. Like, I watched him a little bit today. He's very confident in himself. He's been around 5 years. Maturity, we get better at doing things. I think that it's human nature for people to, I guess for players, they're performers. They want the fans, they want the media to think that they're doing a good job. And I think that he's starting to get a little credit for what he's accomplished, and I think that's helping with his comfort.
Coach, what is it like to break down film with Spencer when you guys are in the film room together, knowing the fact that you're a former quarterback, is there issues, like how do you work together in the film room?
Yeah, I'm not in the room a lot with him. Rattay is. Tim does a great job. I watch him, and we have discussions at practice at time and sometimes in games, and he's come a long way from where he was, which should happen. But he's just very mature. I mean, he's to a point now where he knows this as good as Mason did, and because he has 2 more years, ultimately he'll leave here having more knowledge and being more effective in this offense than anybody's played in it.
Mike, you worry about backup quarterback? You don't have much play behind him. Did you consider finding somebody in the portal? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, we always worry about that. The issue you have, we talked about this before, at quarterback is one person plays in the game. So most of the teams that are playing don't have any experience at backup quarterback. And the portal has even created more issues because, like we've said in the spring, if you have a player that wants to get on the field and you have a guy like Spencer Sanders that's got 2 years, you face the issue with keeping one behind him that doesn't have any experience or may not be getting enough quality reps, unlike other positions where they play multiple numbers. So it's always an issue. And we had Shane last year that had a little bit of experience, not a lot, and now we're in a position where we don't have experience at all. And what you like to do is be in situations to bring them along during the season, but that doesn't happen much at quarterback anymore. So there can be a lot thrown on a person, on a player, unexpected at any time nowadays. And it's only going to continue to increase with as much transfer as you see at the quarterback position.
Did you look at the portal?
Not really. The issue you have with the portal is this. So if you're developing young quarterbacks, there's a certain amount of reps for those guys in practice to get developed. Or if they don't get quality reps in practice, it's hard to develop them. If you bring in a portal guy, then those reps are going to have to get spread amongst him also. And then how many reps does he get compared to the guys that you're trying to develop? So the discussions that would take place are difficult to come up with an answer, because if I was a portal quarterback and I was transferring, I would think in most cases I wouldn't transfer somewhere unless I knew I was going to get reps. Otherwise, how am I ever going to get a chance? That becomes an issue when you're trying to develop young quarterbacks that are inexperienced and then bring another guy in, because there's only so many reps to go around. And if you do that, somebody's going to get cheated reps, basically is what I'm saying.
Like you were talking this morning about all the mechanisms of the sport, right? The moving parts is the way you put it. It's become an enterprise, right? And the money, it's a big race for money, and you need money to sort of thrive and all that stuff. But the fallout is, to another point you were talking about, or another topic, is things like Bedlam are all of a sudden endangered.
Well, Bedlam's history. Bedlam's not going to be Bedlam after they leave the conference.
You don't think there's any scenario by which you come to some kind
That's
of
my opinion. I don't make that decision. I'm just telling you in my opinion. I think it's history.
How, for someone who's invested in that rivalry from the time you could, gosh, I mean, you grew up literally with them. How regrettable is that to you?
You know, we talked about this in the spring. The traditions of college football are gone. The geographical locations of conferences and traditions of college football are gone. And more so now than they were 2 weeks ago, right? We see that. So you adapt and change and deal with it, or you get out of the game if you don't think you like it. If you're old school, I'm a little old school, but I can adjust and make changes based on it's not going to go away. This is a big business now. And the traditions that we all embraced, and not just football, but other traditions that have to do with college athletics, they're gone now. And the people in charge that are paying the bills, that are trying to get out of debt, are more interested in long-term financial security than they are traditions that you're mentioning.
You've come to terms with that, clearly.
I'm not making that decision. There's people way above me that are making those decisions.
Yeah.
So like I said, you either adapt and adjust, or you get out of the game.
Yeah, but when you're on tour, going to cowboy clubs and booster donor groups, I take it not everyone's going to see it that way, and you understand why they wouldn't and be upset.
And here's the hard facts: they're not paying the bills. I mean, that's what it comes down to, right? The people that are when conference alignment started a year ago, whenever it started jumping, there was a lot of people that were unhappy. But those people aren't the ones that are making the decisions at the top. And so the ones making the decisions at the top are going to decide the future and the history of college football, not us.
You just don't want your fans to come to the. You've got fans who are coming to games. So
They'll come to the games.
You want them to be. Not give up.
Those are way over my head.
Right.
I mean, Oklahoma State has been very loyal to our people. We've sat in the Big 12. We're in the Big 12. The Big 12 is going to be strong. So we don't have to deal with that issue. I mean, right now, OU, Texas, UCLA, and USC have to deal with that. We don't. And I'm guessing whoever made their decisions, the president, the athletic director, the boards, they said behind closed doors, they can go fly a kite. I'm paying the bills. That's what was said.
Obviously, another thing that's not going to go away, NIL. After 1 year of it, what is your take on how it's happened?
NIL's a long ways from being settled and governed because there is nobody that's in charge of NIL right now. My personal opinion is in a couple years it'll settle. What direction it'll go, I have no idea. But it's just running a little bit out of control right now. And NIL was originally orchestrated for players to benefit from their name, image, and likeness at the current location, not to be used as a recruiting tool. So once they get a hold, gather that, and get it out of the recruiting aspect of it, I think it'll turn more back into what name, image, and likeness should be. But that one's a little farther off because there's nobody governing it at this time.
What do you see a coach's role in that? I mean, obviously, it is being used by some as recruitment. What do you see a coach's role in NIL right now?
I'm not an NIL coach. I don't get involved in NIL. We have people that are orchestrating and on a daily basis and running NIL for us. There's 6, 8, 10 people that are involved in NIL. And so we don't use NIL in recruiting. So for that reason, I'm not involved in NIL. Our players that can promote their name, image, and likeness for NIL benefits, I think that's awesome. But if a coach is involved in NIL, then he's involved in it in the wrong manner at this particular time.
Do you like where it is with NIL on campus? Are you guys with the club that your team has started? Do you like this, the way the direction you're going for your program?
Yeah, so I was involved in orchestrating this plan for us, and I think it's the best way to go. That's my opinion. We're going to be a little different than others. Once our NIL should be up and running in 2 weeks, and we have 140 players on our team. They're all going to get the same amount of money, whether they're a scholarship or walk-on or not, because what we do as a team. Now, if they can go and pursue other NIL opportunities on their own, which is what it was intended to be, we think that's awesome.
How involved were you in Like,
In which part?
informing them.
It's my plan. I set it up, and other people that have law degrees, they drew up all the legality of it, and we moved down the road. What's that? In recruiting, not much. Not much at all. We've gone through another cycle. We've got about 4 or 5 spots left in this next signing class, and I haven't gotten much at all from any of the parents or players about NIL.